Alright, I'm going to be throwing out some of my masks. And with all kinds of things that you rely upon to protect your life, I have a little bit of emotional attachment, so I wanted to make a mask memorial video before I did. This is my first COVID-19 mask. I was lucky enough to have mold growing in my utility room of my house when I bought it. And normally you wouldn't consider that to be a lucky thing, but I happen to have bought some of these 3M N95 masks for cleaning up the mold. And I happen to have one left in an open bag in my garage. And so I actually had an N95 mask when the whole thing went down. And so I started off keeping it in a Tupperware container with the elastic wrapped around the container so that I could put the mask on and take it off without actually touching the mask, because I didn't know how long I was going to have to use this mask. And from the grime on it and the fact that you can see one of these elastics broke, and I replaced it with a piece of elastic from my wife's sewing room, and then the other elastic broke. I used this for pretty much all the spring and half the summer. Getting groceries and so forth, and I'm glad I did, knowing what we know about airborne transmission and the percentage of grocery store workers who test positive for antibodies. About the time this one was dying, I was actually able to purchase on eBay a Chinese-made N95. This is either made by 3M in China or a very good knockoff of that. It has, the 3M stamped watermark, 3M markings, NIOSH numbers, and so forth. So either it was a very good counterfeit or an actual 3M mask imported from China. This is one that was expensive at the time, obviously. I paid $10 for this mask. I actually bought 3 of them, I think, for $30 on eBay. So, it was a lot of money because there was a lot of demand. And I wore that for most of the rest of the summer and fall and into the next spring, I think. And you can see here that this elastic here finally gave up the ghost and broke. So just before I was able to get a vaccination, we switched to this guy, which was now masks were pretty much commercially available. You could buy them. This is like $1. This is a KN95. This one goes over your ears, so I've found that the sealing didn't work anywhere near as good as the ones that go around the back of your head. So if you're really interested in a good seal, I do recommend the loops around the back of the head. But the ears are a little bit easier to take off and put on again, especially if you have hair. And so I wore this until my vaccination was active. And after my vaccination was active, I got this little guy, which is just your disposable surgical mask. And so this will protect other people from my breath, provides a little bit of protection from me for aerosols. But since I was vaccinated, I was less worried about that. So this is mostly to comply with mask mandates and just to be polite for people who are not yet vaccinated. And so it looks like I'll be able to stop wearing this in probably a month or so here. We have only the public transit places are only really requiring these for now. Also, as a side note, this is my half-gallon of Frogleys Simply Sampletizer that I have left. This is a smoke machine generator, so for Halloween supply stores. They retooled and very quickly started filling their jugs with alcohol's hand sanitizer. They were only selling gallon jugs, which is obviously more than you really need, so even giving stuff away to friends and family, I only used about half a gallon of my hand sanitizer, but I figure having some alcohol-based hand sanitizer can be useful for cleaning other stuff, and I'll have plenty of hand sanitizer for a long time. So that's my mask memorial, and I'm happy things are getting back to normal now, at least in the United States. I recommend you support the COVAX effort to vaccinate everybody in the world.